Welcome to ZoomInData, your go-to channel for in-depth Azure Cloud, Serverless, and modern development interview preparation. In this video, we dive deep into the top 25 Azure Functions event grid triggers interview questions for 2026. Perfect for developers, architects, and anyone preparing for AZ-204 certification or building event-driven, reactive serverless applications. We cover event grid fundamentals, subscription validation, event types, filtering, dead lettering, batching, retry policies, custom events, security, scaling, monitoring, cloud events, IoT integration, advanced filtering, testing, and best practices, all explained in clear, interview-ready technical language to help you confidently ace your next interview. 1. What is an event grid trigger? An event grid trigger is an event-driven trigger that invokes a function in response to events published to an Azure Event Grid topic or domain. It enables reactive, loosely coupled architectures for handling system events, custom events, or third-party events with low latency. Supports push-based delivery, unlike polling in some other triggers, for near real-time processing of events. Ideal for scenarios requiring immediate reaction to changes, e.g., resource creation, blob updates, custom application events. 2. How does Event Grid differ from Event Hubs? Event Grid is a push-based event routing service focused on event distribution with low latency and one-to-many fan-out. Event Hubs is a pull-based streaming platform optimized for high-throughput ingestion and big data streaming pipelines. Event Grid supports filtering, dead lettering, and retry. Event Hubs focuses on ordered, partition streaming with checkpointing. Event Grid for reactive events, e.g., resource changes. Event Hubs for telemetry and streaming analytics. 3. Explain Event Grid subscription validation. Subscription validation is a security handshake to confirm ownership of the webhook endpoint, function URL. Event Grid sends a validation event with validation code. Function must return this code in response body. Automatic validation occurs during subscription creation in portal, CLI. Manual validation possible via code. Failure to validate prevents event delivery to the function endpoint. 4. What event types does Event Grid support? System events from Azure Services, blob created, resource write success, IoT hub device created, etc. Custom events published by applications using Event Grid topics or domains. Cloud events, schema events from external sources or third-party systems. Event type filtering allows functions to handle specific event types only. 5. How do you filter events in subscription? Event Grid subscriptions support advanced filtering on subject, event type, data fields, and cloud events extensions. Filter syntax includes equals, contains, begins with, ends with, and numeric comparisons. Configured during subscription creation via portal, CLI, or ARM template. Reduces unnecessary function invocations and improves performance, cost. 6. Explain dead lettering in Event Grid. Dead lettering stores undeliverable events after max retry attempts, default 30, in a configured storage account. Configured per subscription with dead letter storage container and optional resource lock. Enables manual inspection, replay, or recovery of failed events. Prevents event loss and supports auditing of delivery failures. 7. How do you handle event batching? Event Grid delivers events in batches to reduce HTTP overhead, up to 100 events per delivery. Function receives batch as array of Event Grid event objects in parameter. Process batch in loop or use async collector for output batching. Configure max delivery count and retry policies for batch reliability. 8. What is the Event Grid trigger schema? Event Grid trigger receives events conforming to Event Grid schema with id, event type, subject, data, event time. Data field contains event-specific payload, e.g., blob URL for blob created. Supports Cloud Events schema for interoperability with external systems. Metadata properties, topic, metadata version, provide context for routing. 9. How do you validate handshake requests? Event Grid sends validation event with validation code during subscription creation. Function must return HTTP 200 with validation response containing the code in body. Automatic validation handled by runtime for standard HTTP triggers. Custom validation required for non-standard endpoints or middleware. 10. Explain retry policies for Event Grid delivery. Event Grid automatically retries failed deliveries with exponential backoff, up to 30 attempts. Retry interval starts at 5 seconds and doubles up to 30 minutes maximum. Dead letter storage captures events after max retries for manual handling. Retry policy configurable per subscription with max delivery count. 11. How do you publish custom events to trigger functions? Publish custom events to Event Grid topic using SDK, REST API, or Event Grid Publisher client. Include event type, subject, and data payload matching subscription filters. Function triggers automatically on matching events. Use domains for multi-tenant or organizational event routing. 12. What is the difference between system and custom topics? System topics are Azure managed for service events, e.g., blob storage events, resource changes. Custom topics are user-created for application-defined events with full control. System topics auto-provisioned. Custom topics require explicit creation and access policy. Both support subscriptions and filtering. Custom topics enable domain event patterns. 13. How do you secure Event Grid subscriptions? Use Managed Identities or SAS tokens for secure event delivery to function endpoints. Restrict function authorization to function, admin keys or Entra ID validation. Private endpoints secure Event Grid traffic within VNet boundaries. Validate subscription ownership during handshake to prevent unauthorized delivery. 14. Explain Event Grid domain support. Event Grid domains provide a single endpoint for publishing events from multiple topics. Enables multi-tenant or organizational event routing with topic-based isolation. Subscriptions can be created at domain or topic level with independent filtering. Ideal for SaaS platforms or microservices emitting domain events. 15. How do you debug Event Grid triggers locally? Use NGROK to expose local function endpoint for Event Grid webhook validation. Manually publish validation and test events using Azure Portal or SDK. Logstream captures incoming events and processing flow during local runs. Validate handshake response and event payload in debugger. 16. What is the maximum event size? Maximum event size is 1 MB for Event Grid events, including headers and payload. Larger events are rejected at publish time with error code. Recommended to keep events small. Use blob reference pattern for large payloads. Batch delivery supports up to 100 events per HTTP call. Total size limit applies. 17. How do you handle event ordering? Event grid does not guarantee ordering of events. Delivery is best effort and parallel. Use event hubs for strict ordering or add sequence, timestamp in event data. Process events idempotently to handle out-of-order delivery safely. For ordered processing, use durable functions or service bus sessions. 18. Explain event grid trigger scaling. Event grid trigger scales out based on event volume and processing backlog. Multiple instances process different events in parallel for high throughput. Premium plan pre-warmed instances reduce scaling latency for bursty events. Consumption plan scales from 0 with potential cold start delay. 19. How do you monitor event grid deliveries? Azure Monitor metrics provide delivery success rate, failed deliveries, and dead letter count. Application Insights tracks function invocations triggered by event grid events. Diagnostic settings route event grid logs to log analytics for KQL analysis. Dead letter storage allows inspection of failed events. 20. What is the role of Cloud Events Schema? Cloud Events is an open standard schema for event metadata, id, source, type, time. Event Grid supports cloud events for interoperability with external systems. Enables consistent event handling across platforms and tools. Functions receive cloud events compliant payload when configured. 21. How do you integrate Event Grid with IoT Hub? IoT Hub routes device events, telemetry, lifecycle, to Event Grid topics automatically. Subscribe Event Grid trigger function to IoT Hub topic for real-time processing. Supports filtering by device ID, message type, or custom properties. Enables serverless IoT event processing with low latency. 22. Explain advanced filtering, subject, type. Advanced filtering supports Boolean logic on event subject, type, and data fields. Operators include number in, string contains, bool equals, and advanced key filtering. Reduces unnecessary function invocations by filtering at event grid level. Configured during subscription creation via portal or ARM template. 23. How do you handle delivery failures? Event Grid retries failed deliveries with exponential backoff up to 30 attempts. Failed events after max retries go to dead letter storage if configured. Monitor delivery failures via Azure Monitor metrics and alerts. Implement dead letter processing for recovery and auditing. 24. How do you test Event Grid triggers? Use Azure Portal to manually publish test events to topic, domain. Validate subscription with test validation event in Portal. Local development with NGROK exposes endpoint for subscription validation. Log stream captures incoming events and function execution during testing. 25. Best practices for Event Grid usage. Use advanced filtering to reduce unnecessary function invocations and costs. Implement dead letter storage and monitoring for failed event recovery. Design functions to be idempotent to handle possible duplicate deliveries. Monitor delivery metrics and set alerts on high failure rates. Thank you for watching. If this video helps you prepare for your Azure Functions interview, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your network. Don't forget to subscribe to ZoomInData and hit the bell icon for more in-depth cloud computing, serverless, and Azure interview prep videos every week. Drop your questions or topic requests in the comments. Let's zoom in on your success together.